Hey there, everyone. It's Wednesday. It's March 1st. It's 4:30 p.m. on the East Coast. We're going to do a sports algorithm podcast going over NBA, college basketball, and NHL. First, let me get some things out of the way real quick because I've been getting multiple requests asking for the same question. So I need to clarify. When you want to purchase a copy of any of these sports algorithms on kenbraverman.com, this is a one-time purchase, and it is the entire Excel file, the Excel algorithm, completely unlocked. Right. So you're able. I just spilled some coffee. That's right. It's a Wednesday. I'm already spilling coffee. So what you can do with that, and what you need to do with that when you purchase the copy is not only are you gonna get the file and you want to update it yourself. In order to update it yourself, you're also going to need a subscription to RotoWire to get the statistics that you need to feed into this file. So all of the files, they all use RotoWire, and any other sources other than rotowire.com are all free. The sports pro references are free, and any of the other links that you need to use are free. So it's $9.99 a month is what I pay for RotoWire's stats access. And I'm assuming you can get the same price. So you purchase the file for, say $50 or $25 or $100, whichever one you're buying. You then subscribe to RotoWire, and then you watch the how to update tutorial videos. I have multiple videos on all these sports. So anytime you search on YouTube, how to update college basketball algorithm, how to update NHL algorithm, how to update NBA algorithm, you're going to see only my videos. Nobody else titles their videos like that. So they come up first, and they go through the step-by-step process to update every sheet. And each video has slightly different things in it, so you can keep watching them if you get stuck. I do answer questions, but I can't handle everyone's requests to update their files every day. And I also do not send my updated version every day because some days I don't do it. Here we are at 4:30 p.m. on Wednesday, and I'm just starting it. So a lot of you would have wanted to get started on this earlier, and it doesn't work with my life to wake up in the morning and have to deliver all of the algorithms that I do to people that paid me months ago, one purchase. I don't offer subscriptions anymore, but I do it on the day that anybody pays me for a copy. That actually initiates me setting it up for the day. So no one's paid today, which is why it's 4:30 p.m. and I'm just starting now. But let's go over the games because I do like to do the videos every day when I have availability, and today we have availability. So let's talk about NBA. Had a really excellent day yesterday. I'm happy with this number 62 combination distribution. And all right, so happy with that distribution. So let's take a look at this, and let's talk about where to diagnose games that are reasonable games to play. So Memphis line's terrible, and they're a little bit injured, so not much to do here. The Bulls are much healthier than Detroit, and this is kind of only 225, minus 225. So the Bulls to win on a parlay around robin is probably going to be on there. Here you can see Milwaukee is a little bit unhealthy, so this line's bad for Milwaukee because of the health factor. This is a really important number when determining whether or not the algorithm is going to be as predictive as it should be. Is if the team doesn't have the players that we assume they would have in the game, it changes what the projected outcome would be, but it doesn't reflect that in the file. So you just see like, oh, super injured Oklahoma City. So that means that like this game's probably going to be pretty close because both these teams are super injured. So it's not really a good line. Similar problem here with the Pelicans and the Trailblazers. Both these games are really tough to pick, and they're probably going to be close games with not normal guys going. Down here, it does think the Knicks will barely beat the Nets, but that line's terrible all the way down here. So I would say that the Nets +7 is probably the way to go because this margin is super low and the game's probably going to be very close. Celtics should beat the Cavs. Margin's not that big though, and this line's not great. This looks like the best pick of the day is the Sixers over the Heat. They're away, but they're healthier. They have an 11% margin, and it thinks that they will win this game. The spread is 2. So they're an underdog. So NBA, I'd say that's a pretty clear pick of the day when it comes to line because this is an underdog. So the Sixers, there is not a reason not to take them according to the algorithm. So there's that. And it looks like the Bulls and everything else is either a terrible line or a mess with injuries. So Sixers and Bulls. All right. That's NBA. Let's go over to NHL and we'll finish with college basketball. NHL, always the toughest sport to bet on, but we still do what we can here, and I enjoy watching hockey, so it's kind of my number one sport to follow. So let's talk about the games. Number one, Toronto over Edmonton. Samsonov against expected Skinner. So be nice to know if he's actually going. Might be, who's the other? Was it? There were some trades, by the way. Jonathan Quick got traded. Corpusalo got traded. A lot of trades that I did reflect, and I did update all these trades in here. So things should be accurate. So anyway, not a bad line for the number one pick of the day. Toronto on the road against Edmonton, but I would double check that goalie to see if it is going to be Skinner. That's kind of the reason why. So number one, Toronto, reasonable line. Number two, Colorado, reasonable line. Should be an excellent game. Justice Anunin has an exceptionally high goalie rating, and that's what's pushing them over the top here. Now, we need to double check that for a second. So Justice Anunin has apparently started off really, really strong. He probably doesn't have very many stats. Colorado, here we go. He's 1-0 with a goals against of 1. So we got a really, really limited stats for him, and that's inflating Colorado slightly. So you kind of need to know that they're probably not really the number 2 pick. It's probably closer because he's not going to play that great every game. But he did start out well. So if you want to go with the hot hand, hot goalie, this should be a very good game. Notice that thinks it will be really low scoring game because Anunin is playing, and Vanacek also has an excellent rating. So the under might be the play there unless he has, a bad start this time, but you see second start for him. So there's some question marks in that game, but the under is the smart man's bet. I bet you the under is set at, it's set at 6. So, all signs are that this will be a good goaltending matchup, even though you got limited stats. Number 3, Rangers over Philadelphia, -225. Rangers picked up Patrick Kane. Now, I don't know if he's playing today, but they are really loading up. You can see Carter Hart here expects some goals for the Rangers. It says they can get all the way to 6. So line's not great, but there's probably going to be some scoring out of the Rangers in this game. Number 4, Carolina over Vegas. Anderson against Aiden Hill. Line's kind of consistent, thinks it's 3-2 Carolina. Both these teams playing pretty good. Also should be, it's going to be a night of line changes, lead changes, and good games, I believe. So it does have Carolina, but the line is consistent with that. Number 5, the Caps. Caps are playing terrible. And I'm scared. I mean, I want to bet on the Caps at -200. You got Gibson going, who's just playing behind a really bad team right now. He may be even looking to be traded. I'm scared of taking my Caps in this game because they're just playing so terrible right now. So that's the number 5 pick of the game. And number 6 is right here. So here we go again. Arizona on a back-to-back game after beating Chicago last night, going up against a Dallas team that has such a poor win percentage over the last month or so. What is in the water in Dallas? So you got a +330 on Arizona. This is another one of those games where you can try to take this huge line and see if they get off to a lead. Putting money on Dallas right now has not worked out recently. So you can see that that's the closest game, and that line is absurd. So I probably will put a straight bet on Arizona to start out and see how that goes. That's hockey. Let's go over to college basketball. Pretty big day. A lot of these games are tournament games. So our home and away, I don't want to go through every game and identify them because I just don't have the time or the desire, but it is important to look. So knowing that, we'll assume that our home and aways, we'll assume that everybody's at a neutral site game, even though that's not the case. But I want to analyze the file, and I want to show you some things that we can filter for to give us the best picks of the day. So I've been talking about health numbers. They are very important. Whenever you see something like this, like a 78% Xavier at Providence, you know this is trouble, and you don't want to take any of these teams that are below 90% health. So here's what we're going to do. First thing we're going to do is we're going to filter for that. We're going to get rid of all the games where the health is less than 0.9. So everything has to be 90% or better. That leaves just these games. All right. Here you have 31 games. Here's another thing we want to filter for, which is, actually, I want to do this first. You want to talk about premium picks? Check this out. Let's also filter for opponent's health, okay? Opponent's health less than 0.9. How about that? Opponent's health less than 0.9. You know what that's going to give us? Games where we have healthy teams against unhealthy teams. This right here should be a very good look for teams that win games over here, because the algorithm already favors them by margin. They're significantly healthier and this team is significantly unhealthy. Okay. So what do we see here? We see Pittsburgh beating Notre Dame in Notre Dame. We see Tulane beating East Carolina in East Carolina. We see Texas as an underdog over TCU. We see Southern Utah beating Grand Canyon at home. And we see Fordham beating George Mason. Should I go to that game? I can't tonight. I guess I could, but I'm not going to. But I definitely can't bet on that game because I'm in Virginia. But that's another one. So these picks are coming out as, you know, if you want to do a nice round robin with some teams that should win, you can see the lines of these ones are not miserable. So there's like 5 of them here. Pittsburgh, Tulane, Texas, Southern Utah, and Fordham. Fordham's a really close margin down here too, and it has a bad strength of schedule. So another reason, me being in Virginia allowed me to not have to even have the opportunity to bet on that game, but you might. So that one down there, that's away. That's probably a true home game. I think it is. So probably trouble there. So that was an interesting list of 5 that using health as a guide is a really good way to look at the list. Now let's look at everybody else. And we've opened up all games again. And we're not going to click home teams because we don't know who home teams actually are. But what we are going to do is we're going to sort by, should we sort by line value? I guess. I like looking at this by margin. Let's not sort by line value. So let's just go down the list and try to find good lines and see if these are good games. We've mentioned the Pittsburgh game already. Here is Missouri at Louisiana State, but they're injured, so bad idea. Here's Campbell over Presbyterian at home, only minus 260 with a 20% margin. That's probably a winner. Northwestern State is that's minus 690. Tulane we talked about. Kansas State over Oklahoma. It's not a great line, but it's probably a winner. Sam Houston State away at Stephen F. Austin, 14.5% margin, but only minus 120. That one's pretty good, even though they're probably on the road. Utah State is a little bit injured against UNLV, and they're away, but you start to see what's available. Maryland's away at Ohio State. But these teams are all really fighting for jockeying for positions, and some of these are tournament games, and I think everyone's come to play. And I suspect that's the reason why we hit more of our away teams yesterday than normal. Is it's a different mindset right now, and as well as some of those games not being true home game. What else? What are our only underdogs for the day? So you got these 5. Xavier injured, so stay away from that. Wagner at Sacred Heart, Rhode Island at Loyola down here at plus 172. It's a pretty good line. And the Texas at TCU. Yeah. So here you have 5, but really it's 4 that you consider because you should stay away from Xavier. Is there anything else to talk about in here? I think that's about it. I think that's about it. Yeah, so that's the update for Wednesday. Good luck. May all your picks be winning. If you want copies, one-day copies of the file, you can go to kenbraverman.com and purchase them, and you'll get them. But I cannot offer subscriptions anymore. I really enjoy, and I'm relieved that when I wake up every day, if there hasn't been any sales yet, I don't have any commitment to deliver these products to everybody. It's just too much because a lot of you will send me messages about one sport, and I mean, maybe some of you realize, some of you don't realize that I'm doing multiple sports, and this is not what I do generally for a living. This is my YouTube channel persona. This is one of the things that I do on the channel. And even though it becomes kind of consumes the channel because it's an everyday thing, it can't be my life, and I'm not compensated enough by people who want to buy these to make this my full-time job. So we're just going to continue doing it the way we're doing it. And if you want a copy and want to start messing with it yourself, they're all unlocked. I do help. There's a limit to my help, but I do help. So, all right, good luck, everyone. May all your picks be winning.